So I just wanted to preface today's video by saying that everything I'm going to talk about in today's video is speculation. I have tried to gather information because this topic is very interesting to me, and I've seen lots of posts around social media related to Lake Tahoe threads with regards to the Kokanee salmon this year at Taylor Creek. And I don't know about you, but ever since I've moved here to Lake Tahoe, it's been a very strong association with fall, the colors, and the salmon run. And there was something so unique about it that I think that's why it drew so much attention, and why the Taylor Creek Visitor Center this time of year is always so busy. So as of more recently, this weekend, Bree and I and Ed and Diane, we all went down and we just went to kind of go see what was happening. And I remember earlier on in October, driving across the bridge on Highway 89, and Taylor Creek was at a trickle. And that was a couple weeks ago. And yesterday when we were there, the water was running actually pretty good, but there was very few salmon in the river itself. And so I'll get to the rest of this a bit later on in the video, but I just wanted to preface it by saying this is all speculation, and I do not know for certain what has led 100% to the cause of this delayed salmon run. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about where Taylor Creek is and where the salmon come in from and where they do their run, and how this all kind of works together. So one of the biggest things here is the water for Taylor Creek actually comes from Fallen Leaf Lake, where all of that water is essentially coming in from Desolation Wilderness. But in order for this water to get released, there is a dam right here that gets released, and then that runs down this stream, crosses Highway 89, and then pretty much the rainbow trail that you saw earlier in the video, that's all through this marshland right down here on the edge of Kiva Beach, and that's where the salmon in theory enter from and come up into the river. So let's back up again for a moment, and let's talk again about this Fallen Leaf Lake Dam. And the issue here is that my basic understanding is that the Homeowners Association and the U.S. Forest Service must have an agreement about when the water is released. Ideally, they keep the water high during the summer for recreation, and then they want it lower during the winter as we get heavier rains, big snowfalls, so that they're not getting an issue with the lake filling up too much. But when and how much water they release can directly impact the successfulness of the salmon run, because if they're not releasing water, there's not going to be enough flow in the creek for the salmon to make their run. And so that was an interesting this year. It seemed to be a little bit later than usual. And then the other thing was the sandbar down here that was created by just nature, that prevented the creek from leaving and exiting into Lake Tahoe. Now, the other thing that could impact the salmon run is obviously natural rains, but we see some rain this time of year, but usually not consistent enough to get the flow high enough for a salmon run. So the sandbar was breached relatively recently. I'm not exactly sure how long ago that was, but that's now allowed the salmon to start their spawn coming up Taylor Creek. But as we'll talk about shortly, they haven't made it up very far, and that's where a lot of the people there yesterday, as they were walking around, were very confused because everybody's walking around the trails and you can't see the salmon. But on further inspection, as I'll talk about in a moment, if you get down closer to the lake and the exit of the mouth of that creek/river, that's where they all were. So it was very interesting. And then the other thing that is a big unknown is, are they going to continue to go up, or are they all truly just spawning right there at the mouth of the creek and in that little lagoon? So I'm not sure. We'll head back maybe in 7 to 10 days, and we'll check further upstream again and see if we see a lot more of the kokanee further up, and then we'll know for sure. But as of right now, if you are wanting to go find them, they are down at the mouth of the exiting part of the creek there at Lake Tahoe and Kiva Beach. So hopefully that helps. The other big thing that's changed is that the kind of lagoon, as you get in right in past the lake into Taylor Creek, they've taken out the black tarps that they had there before to stop the algae, and so now without those black mats, most of the salmon appear to be spawning right here in the lagoon, right next to the lake. So it's been fun to kind of search out and figure out what's been happening with that this year. So hopefully you found this interesting. Now, if you have more information, please leave it in the comments below. I'm very curious to know if there's more information out there that I'm missing, and kind of helps add to this puzzle of kind of what tends to impact a salmon run.